wa barakatuh. Welcome, brothers and sisters, to our program Spiritual Insight. And today, as our previous programs, we will discuss some controversial issues, some spiritual issues, and how we can increase our spirituality. And in that light, I would like to start with welcoming our guest, Sheikh Jafar Imran. Welcome, Brother Jafar. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Faizul Hassan. I hope you are doing well, and may Allah accept your fasting and your dua and supplication as well.
Same to you, dear brother. Same to you as well. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And brother, so we discussed in our previous program about some issues. Would you like to recap them or should I recap them? Summarize.
You can start by recapping them, no problem.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. So brother Jafar, we discussed yesterday in our program was about the parents' rights and what are their hukuk and what are the rights of the children as well, how they should work together, how the parents should be able to respect themselves, to respect the children, and if they respect the children will in return respect them. It's a two-way street. Although in the Quran it mentions that the children should be honoring their fathers and mothers, but they can only learn to honor their parents is by learning from the parents. So the parents should
Yes,
know how to treat the children so that they can be matured into respectable individuals in society and community. And this was the summary of
yes,
what we had discussed in the previous program. And we also discussed about oppression, Al-Quds Day. Tomorrow, those that are in the West or in the UK, United Kingdom, we have Al-Quds Day tomorrow. So make sure all the viewers that are watching from this area to participate in that protest so that we show that we as a Muslim Ummah are united against this oppression and tyranny in Philistine. So this is what we discussed about. And anything else, Brother Jafar? Do you remember?
may Allah accept your amal, and inshallah may you have health and to show your solidarity with the people, with the oppressed of Palestine tomorrow, inshallah. Yes, brother. Yesterday we talked about what to do in these last 10 remaining days, or from last 10 remaining days. I mean from 21st till the end, or let me say from today, because a lot of people maybe they were busy doing some other stuffs because of their work schedule, their life, lifestyle and everything. They couldn't participate in other activities and to uplift their spiritual level. But what should we do in these remaining days? Are we done? Should we just leave out things like that? We didn't do any amal on the previous days, or like 20 days back. Right now, can we lose hope, or we still have opportunity to work on our spiritual level? So here, yesterday, just mentioned quickly, and I promised you and our dear viewers that inshallah today I'll be talking about the activities that someone do them in these 10 remaining days in details, inshallah. So first of all, we have first of all to spare time, to spare some time on our spiritual activities, not only by fasting. Oh, brother,
It seems like Brother Jafar has been disconnected. So today's our topic, which we would like to discuss, is about the fasting. Oh, Brother Jafar, you're back.
yeah, sorry, the internet was misbehaving. Sorry. So somebody will say that already, some time for my fast. This morning till
It
evening,
seems like
I'm fasting. So what else do I need to do? And on the other side, I'm also praying. I'm having daily prayers. So what else do I need to do? All these activities, all these activities normally do on our days.
so. I'll help you continue, Brother Jafar. all these amal that we have done in till the Mahira, till the Laylatul Qadr nights, you might be having a question, and the question would be this: that has my dua been accepted? My prayers, my hajat that I have requested Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If this is the most important night of all the nights, which we call the night of destiny, then surely in this participation in this night, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will grant our prayers, our duas. Sorry, Brother Jafar, I was compensating for your internet problem. I assume that because we
Thank you.
mentioned Palestine and all this, it's giving you problems over there. So
Thank you.
I was just letting the
Thank
viewers,
you
I
very
was
much
just
for
letting
having my back.
the, I
Thank you.
was
Thank you
letting the
very much
viewers
once
know.
again. No, the internet was misbehaving. So we should spare some time on our own, not health but spiritual growth. We have a hadith here عن الصادق عليه السلام. Imam Sadiq says, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. The Prophet used to do what? إذا دخل. The Prophet used to do what? إذا دخل العشر الأواخر شد المئزر واجتنب النساء وأحيا الليل وتفرغ للعبادة. The Prophet, when the last 10 remaining days, when he was approaching the last 10 days, he was, self-turning his boots. In English, I think you say like that. In Arab, they say mi'zar. Mi'zar is what people wear, like, this kabba. So they fasten their kabba, and they uplift, or they, fasten their belt. Let me put it that way. They tried the Prophet was trying his level best on the last 10 days to uplift his spiritual level. Wajtanaba Nisa, and he was keeping himself away from women. And yeah, I think he was doing i'tikaf, not that in that meaning. He was doing i'tikaf. Wahya al-layl, and he was staying awake the whole night. Watafarraga lil-ibad, and he was sparing his time for ibadah. Most of the time, you are finding the Holy Prophet doing ibadah on these last 10 days. So, if we spare our time for ibadah, if we spend more time for ibadah, what should we do in this, in this more time that we've already spared for ibadah? We have here one of the activities that is recommended is to visiting Imam Hussein's graveyard. And here, one of the Sahaba is narrating from Imam Rida alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, Umrah fi shahr Ramadan تعدل حجة. One Umrah in the month of Ramadan is equivalent to Hajj. We have Hajj wajib, but this one, the thawab of it is equivalent to Hajj. He continues and says, وَاعْتِكَافْ لَيْلَةً في مسجد رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله. And doing i'tikaf in the mosque of the Holy Prophet صلى الله عليه وآله. وعند قبره, and closer to his grave, يعدل حج وعمرة. It is equivalent to Hajj and Umrah. Just doing i'tikaf in the in the mosque of the Holy Prophet and closer to his grave. ومن زار الحسين عليه السلام يعتكف عند العشر. And the person who visit Imam Hussein, this woman Zara al-Hussein, the ziyarah of Imam Hussein during this holy month of Ramadan and doing i'tikaf in the haram of Imam Hussein, you get equivalent thawab as you do i'tikaf and visit the Prophet graveyard during this holy month. So you get thawab equivalent to somebody who has done Hajj and who has done Umrah. So it is very recommended for us, if we can, if it is possible, for people who are in Iraq, or for Iraqi people who are in UK or other countries, if they can visit Iraq and visit Imam Hussein, please don't forget us in your dua and your i'tikaf. So because you'll get thawab equivalent to somebody who has done Hajj and Umrah. One more hadith. The other hadith is for performing ghusl. We should perform ghusl in this last 10 nights daily. On our daily routine, that we should include ghusl. Why? Abu Abdullah, who is Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, says, كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله يغتسل في شهر رمضان. The Prophet used to do ghusl in the holy month of Ramadan, in the whole month of Ramadan. في العشر الأواخر في كل ليلة. And in the last 10 days, he was doing what? He was doing ghusl in every night. Maybe from the first day or from the first night till 20th, he was skipping maybe one day not. But he was, maybe he was doing so, but here in Hadith it is not saying so. We can say that maybe he was doing so, but to emphasize on the last 10 days, he says, وَفِي الْعَشْرِ الْأَوَاخِرِ فِي كُلِّ لَيْلَةٍ. He was doing it, he was doing ghusl in the last 10 days, in every day or every night he was doing ghusl. So even right now, we are, you know, the time is still there. We can do ghusl for this layla, for this night. Now I don't know your time over there, but here right now we are about we are closer to Adhan Maghrib, so we can do ghusl. The people who listen to me from East African region, they can do ghusl for this night. Another recommended activity is doing i'tikaf, going to the mosque and staying there, avoiding everything at least for 3 days and at most for 10 days or for 10 nights. It is very recommended. You stay away from everything. You stay away from your worldly life to go to another life, spiritual life, to get bounties of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and getting closer to Him. Then we have the last thing I would like to mention is specific du'as for these days. We have du'a for the day and we have du'a for night. We have dua Laylatul 25 and we have dua Yawm 25. So it is very recommended for us to also be reciting the du'as of these 10 days, 10 remaining days. Right now, brother, I think we are remaining with 6 days, right? Days on 24th.
Yeah.
We are remaining 5 days, right? So for these 5 days or 6 days or 5 days that are remaining, we can use our Mafatih al-Jinan properly and we read the du'as that are recommended from our imam during the day and also at night. So I think, brother, we have the recap. If you have anything to add, then I'll be listening to you.
No, Brother Jafar, I think what I just wanted to add was, which will nicely tally into the other point we were discussing about, why our hajat or our du'as that we made in Laylatul Qadr night might not be accepted. So we've done all these 30 days or 23 days, 24 days fasting, and we've also spent the night vigilant, awake, praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reading Joshan Kabir, then reading the 100 Salat Namaz, and doing all of those ibadah. And after all of this doing this, we find out, or some of us will find out, that the du'as we made were not accepted, maybe. And this is a serious question, because this is a question I'm sure the people that you are giving da'wah to, tabligh of Deen Islam, they will probably ask you this question, and they ask me as well, and they ask all the ulamas and sheikhs that are out there that, Haji Aga, I made a prayer, but they didn't get accepted. Now this is the most auspicious nights of all nights. What's going on? You talk about Allah is so close to us, is more close to us than our jugular vein, but He hasn't accepted my salat, my dua, and my supplication, my prayers, my request, my hajat, and all these kind of things. So this is a serious question that we have. And how do we answer this to the believers? How do we answer it to ourselves, for example? I'm sure there might be some hajats that you've asked and they've probably not been accepted. And I'm sure that probably there are some hajats that I've asked that for now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not accepted them. So what do we answer them?
Yes.
How do we answer this question? So this is a thing that I think is an interesting topic to discuss about.
Inshallah. First of all, I would like to say something to our dear viewers and to you, and reminding myself as well, is that the person who has been given the opportunity to make dua or to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will definitely be granted with answer to his prayers or what he has been asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we shouldn't just leave it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't fulfill his promise. So that's why I don't want to ask Allah anymore. That's not the issue. The issue is not with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot make any mistake, or we cannot even think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cannot fulfill his promise. Once he has given us the promise, definitely he's going to fulfill it. But some people, I just want to share with you this story, brother, if you allow me. Some people, they tend to take Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as human being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you promised me this, you didn't do it. You didn't fulfill it. First of all, you have to look at yourself. What do you have? Have you fulfilled all the conditions that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requested from us before we do supplication, before we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anything, or not? So, just to highlight before I continue with my strong points, is that there is a Somali guy. This is a story I'm just narrating, brother. There is a Somali guy who had, camel. He had 10 camels. And, the camels were a little bit ill. So he decided to sell one of them, one after the other, one after the other. He remained with one camel. And that camel was a female camel. It was giving out very, healthy milk, very fat milk. So he was just depending on that camel. And that camel, one day, it felt, sick. He decided to do nothing. He told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you give health to my camel, I'm going to fast 10 days for you. So just fulfill your promise, I will fulfill mine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, within 2-3 days, the camel got well. The camel was healthy and it was giving out milk and he was using it on his daily basis and, on his economy, to uplift his economy. After around 7, this person, when he saw that the camel got healthy, he decided to fulfill his promise as well. He fasted for the first day, he went for the second day, for the third day. He fasted for 9 days. On the 10th day, after he finished fasting, after he broke his fasting, the camel just fell down and died. So this person, because he was doing mu'amala, he was doing business with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he told Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since you decided to kill my camel on my 10th day and I've already fasted for you for 10 days, I'm going to deduct it from the month of Ramadan. In the month of Ramadan, I'm not going to fast for 10 days because I've already fasted and you took away my camel. So inshallah, for the month of Ramadan, I'm only going to fast for 20 days. Why? Because he took Allah as a joke. He doesn't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He just took, Allah, we decided to make a deal. So why did you break your promise? So on the other day, from the other view, we have to know two things. First of all, I mentioned that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grants you a chance, a tawfiq for you to do dua, definitely is going to reply or is going to fulfill your request. That one, you have to know it. That is one. But we have two things involved here. We have istijabatul dua and we have qada'ul haja. We have Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replying to your request and to your dua, and we have your fulfillment, your request fulfillment. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to fulfill whatever you ask him or is not going to fulfill whatever you ask him. First of all, istijabat dua. What do I mean by istijabat dua? Or what is the meaning of istijabat dua? Like, can I give a life example, brother, if you allow me?
Yes. Please give us an example.
Yes, a very good or brief example that I want to give you. 1 minute. This one. Okay. One example that I would like to give is that let me say that you heard that there is a place they need a professional, a sheikh, or let me say a mullah, or anything like a teacher, and you have the qualifications. If you go there and you submit your CV, it means they have already paying attention to your CV. But if you go there, then they close the door to you. What does it mean? They don't want somebody like you at all. They don't need you. Let me say it that way. But when they accept to collect your CV from you, it means they will consider it. So your request has been taken, but it has not been answered. So when we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us opportunity to ask him or to do dua and to do ibadah, it means our request has been accepted, but it hasn't yet been fulfilled. Our cry should be, oh Allah, to accept my prayers, not to fulfill my prayers. No, he promised us he's going to fulfill it. Oh, right now, is he going to accept it? Is he going to accept my request or not? That is the issue. That is the case that we have to look for it. So you or me, we decided to fast for this, the last 24 days or 20 days, 23 days. We decided to fast, and we participated in the activities of Laylatul Qadr. So what else is remaining? Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our CV? Or is he going to give us the job? Let me give out that example. Is he going to grant us the job? or he's going to reject our CV at all completely. So if he's going to reject our CV or our request completely, with which basis is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to do that? The first thing is done when we have a lot of sins and we have not purified our hearts and we have not cleared our hearts from the sins. There is no way Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept our dua. Even we read in Dua al-Kumail, Allahumma ghfir li dhunub allati tahbisu dua. Oh Allah, please forgive my dua, forgive my sins that prevails or avails my dua to reach to you. Because of our sins, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept our dua. Is not going to accept our CVs, as I gave you an example. Imam Bakr alayhi salatu wasalam, just to support this point, he says, Inna al-abda yas'alul haja. What a servant of Allah ask for haja, ask for his own needs. فَيَكُونُ مِنْ شَأْنِهِ قَضَاؤُهَا. And it is for Allah's dignity and Allah's position to grant this abd, to grant this servant his requests. إِلَى أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ أَوْ وَقْتٍ بَطِيٍ. For within a short period of time or a long period of time. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept it. So right now, is he going to accept it and just reply to me? Just give out what I requested from him, or no? It's going to take a while for him to grant me whatever I requested. أو قريب أو بطيء فيذنب العبد ذنبا, and this servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make a sin, even one sin. فيقول الله تبارك وتعالى. Do you have a point, brother, before I continue?
Yes, Brother Jafar, I just wanted to let you know that we are giving how Allah Ta'ala accepts the prayers and how He doesn't accept the prayers. But why is another question. So once you finish, I would like to
why is He not accepting our prayers? Yes. Oh, why is He not accepting our prayers? The first thing that He's not going to accept our prayers is because of them.
I'll answer that.
Okay, fine.
Okay, you answer. No, you answer it. Okay. You said, come on, I want to hear it. I'm interested. You said them. So what is it?
Yeah. Because of our sins. We read in the dua Kumail that Allahumma ghfir li dhunub allati tahbisu dua. Oh Allah, please forgive my sins that avails or prevails my dua to reach to you. So sometimes we make dua with a sincere heart, but we are sincere within ourselves. But when it goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there are some sins. Maybe we've taken somebody's right, as we mentioned in the previous night. Maybe we've taken somebody's right. Maybe we backbited somebody or anything. Because of that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept, not even to answer, is not going to accept our requests. That is one. Answering our prayers, that is another issue. I'm going to talk about it. But accepting our prayers and accepting our dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept our dua, or He is going to accept it, but He's not going to give us whatever we need because of the sins that we made. So I was reading a hadith here. Please pay attention to it. Imam Bakr alayhi salatu wasalam says, Inna al-abda yas'alul haja. A servant of Allah asks Allah for something or for anything, or for his needs, haja, his needs. فَيَكُونُ مِنْ شَأْنِهِ قَضَاؤُهَا. And it is for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept or to give the answer of what this servant has asked. Are you listening, brother? إِلَى أَجَلٍ قَرِيبٍ أَوْ وَقْتٍ بَطِيٍ. Within a short period of time or after a long period of time. فَيُذْنِبُ الْعَبْدِ. And this abd and this servant of Allah does sin. ذنبا, one sin. فَيَقُولُ اللَّهُ تَبَارَكَ وَتَعَالَى لِلْمَلَائِكَ or لِلْمَلِكَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the angel, لا تقضي حاجته. Don't answer or don't give this person whatever he requests for. So sometimes, brother, I requested Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during the holy month of Ramadan. Are we together? I asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me a spouse, maybe a child, wealth, or even to give me a job. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as He knows, maybe He's not going to answer our prayers at that very moment. He's going to answer our request or our prayer after a while, after a month or two. That is according to His plans. according to Allah's plan. He's going to accept or to answer our prayers after, let me say, a week, not the moment that we requested, because of our maslahah, because of our own right. So, but between that period of time, after we've already asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us whatever we need, we make a sin. We make a sin. And once we make a sin, one sin, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells his malaika, La taqdi hajatahu. Don't give him whatever he requested. Why? وَأَحْرِمْهُ إِيَّاهُ. And don't give him at all. Don't give him. First of all, لَا تَقْضِ حَاجَتَهُ. Don't accept his CV. And second, don't grant him the job. So I'm giving out example like that first. فَإِنَّهُ تَعَرَّضَ لِسَخَطِي. Because he made me angry. He stretches his arm into making me angry. لِسَخَطِي وَاسْتَوْجَبَ الْحَرْمَانَ مِنِّي. And it is for him not to get whatever he wanted from me. You see? So the first thing is done. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we cry, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not giving us the feedback of whatever we asked him for. So what is the reason? What is the reason? Because of our sins. Once we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have to keep our hearts and our deeds clean for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us. And one more thing, it's not that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after he granted us whatever we requested, we start sinning. No, I don't mean that. I don't mean that. We are Muslim, and above that we are mu'min. We are mu'minin. We are the mu'minin of Imam Ali. So we should keep ourselves away from what? From sins. So we have to, after we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should continue with that purity till when we get, and after we get whatever we requested Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for. The second thing, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not replying to our dua, Adam hudur al-qalb. This is, we are talking about istijabat, we are talking about istijabat dua, not qada al-haja. Istijabat dua. Allah accepting our CVs. So, first of all, Allah is not going to accept our CV because we have already done sin. You go. You are filthy. Why? Because you requested me, you brought out your CV, you brought out your CV on my desk, whatever you requested for, then you decided to sin. So take back your CV. The second thing is Adam hudur al-qalb. We are requesting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but our hearts are not there. We are requesting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for something, but we don't believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give us whatever we requested. But we just request Allah subhanahu, you know what? I've been wanting to buy a house, but I'm not getting the money. So let me go and Laylatul Qadr if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to grant me whatever I want. So you are going there, but your heart is not there. You are thinking of, oh, my kids, they don't have Eid clothes. Oh, my mother doesn't have this and that. My brother doesn't have this and that. We are requesting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but our hearts are not there. Our hearts are not there. We are just there physically, but our spirit are not there. So with this condition, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept what? The CV that we just gave an example. And in Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the Holy Prophet says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad, la yaqbalu Allah du'a abdin du'a qalbin sah. Allah is not going to accept dua from a person's heart which is not present. If we request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should look at Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should look at our dua, that as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to give us in the next minute. Once we request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is listening to us. Our heart should be present. The presence of heart is requested, not more than the presence of what? Of the body, physical body. No, physical body is just there. It's just a means. It is the one who took us which took us to the mosque. But our also spiritual presence is really needed for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our dua, not to fulfill our request, to accept our dua. The third thing today, brother, I'm going to talk about it in brief. Just give me time. Be patient with me. The third thing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to accept our dua, not to fulfill our to give us whatever we wanted, to accept our dua, is Adam ma'rifatillah yaqinan. We don't really know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the way He wants us to know Him properly. We request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as if we are requesting our human being. Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be able to give me whatever I'm requesting him for? No, I doubt. Is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala going to give me whatever I'm requesting him for? Or maybe, no, maybe whatever I'm requesting him for, maybe whatever I'm requesting is beyond his limit. We don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why we have doubt. If we know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a very calm heart. In such a way that maybe we have an ill person, brother, sister, father, mother. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure this person with the heart, with the mentality that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to cure this person. Definitely. Even if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decides to take his heart, we shouldn't blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No, that is according to his plans. So we shouldn't have doubt if Allah will fulfill that thing or not. That one is another problem when we request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know what, brother, I've tried to apply job. Let me now ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Will Allah grant me this field, in this field? Will Allah grant me this opportunity? If we have doubt, we don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here, قال قوم للإمام الصادق. A group of people came to Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. They told Imam Sadiq, نَدْعُ اللَّهَ فَلَا يُسْتَجَابُ لَنَا. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not accepting our dua, or is not giving whatever we requested. What did Imam Sadiq reply? Imam Sadiq said, قَالَ لِأَنَّكُمْ تَدْعُونَ مَنْ لَا تَعْرِفُهُ. He said, because you are requesting someone or somebody or a living thing, a living being that you don't know about. We don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala haqqul ma'rif. Because we don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how can we take our CV to a company that we don't know? First of all, we have to know which company is it that needs these people. And I know, basing on that, I'm going to get, a salary scaling from this value to this. You know, that's a big company. But if we take a CV to an unknown company, we're not sure if it is going to be replied or not. Isn't it? We are not sure if that company should reply to our is it to accept our CVs or not. So first of all, we have to have ma'rifah. We should know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Haqqul ma'rifah. They want us to know him. Then we make dua. By doing that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to accept our dua, not to fulfill our dua or to fulfill whatever requested for. Do you have any question, brother, before I go to the issue of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fulfilling whatever we've already talked about istijaba to dua, Allah accepting our dua. Right now we want to talk fulfilling whatever we requested.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah, you've covered everything. I just want to add a little point, which is that there are 8 billion people on this world, on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And if Allah accepts all of our prayers, all of our du'as, the whole world will become a mess. It'll become chaotic, a chaos. Imagine if everyone's prayer got accepted on Laylatul Qadr night. What would happen in the world?
Yeah, now I want to answer to that question. Very nice question. Answer to that question. Sometimes we request subhanahu wa ta'ala, see Allah very long before he replies to whatever we requested him for. So why is it so? Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala everybody every time take or no? Take his time, then he replies. He gives us whatever at his own time. So what is the reason? Ma'rifatullah bisalih wal aslah. Allah knows what is good to us and what is best for us. So if we request somebody like me, request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me a motorbike, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, no, it's not for him to ride a motorbike. Let me give him a car. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me whatever I request, will give me what I deserve. So if we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this destiny night, auspicious night that passed, or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who us a holy month of Ramadan till it ends, after that, then we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whatever we need, because that is why the answer is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is best. We know what is best, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is best for us. Let me give out an example, brother. Just give me a name. Okay, let me say, or no, Qasim is a bit high name. Let me say Jawad. Okay, fine, Jawad is a good name. Okay, let me say Jabir. Jabir has requested Allah Ta'ala to give him a good lady to marry. Let me say, ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, Khadija, or I see Fatima is the best for me. Allah, just give me Khadija. I want to marry Khadija, and so and so. But Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, after a while, He gives him Zainab. What's wrong with it? Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala didn't hear whatever Jawad has asked or whatever Jabir has asked him for. No, but Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He saw that if I give Jawad, if I give Jabir Khadija, it will be hectic for both of them. Both Jabir and Khadija won't be in a peaceful life. So let me give Jawad, or this Jabir that I gave name, let me give him Zainab. Zainab is a very calm lady. Is going to comfort. Is going to make this house to be a home. Is going to give him peace. So Allah Subhanahu wa Taala knows what is best for us. So if we ask Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and we have already got the opportunity, we know Allah Subhanahu. We've already fulfilled the conditions. We don't have them. We have not sinned. We know Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And the third condition that I just mentioned here, what was it, brother? And our hearts are present whenever we ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. We already fulfilled this, and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala has already accepted our CV. So, but He didn't give us whatever we need. He gave us whatever we deserve. So we shouldn't blame Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala for that. First of all, we were single. He gave us Zainab. It is good. Alhamdulillah, we have to be joyful for that. We shouldn't be angry. Oh Allah, you didn't give me Khadija, so I'm going to be angry for you. No, we have to be happy that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala accepted our prayers that we requested Allah postposed. But He didn't give us whatever we wanted. He gave us whatever we deserve. That is one thing. So sometimes when you see something like that, we shouldn't say, oh, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala didn't grant me whatever I wanted. No, He gave me something else. Maybe that Khadija was somebody's fiancé. Somebody has already gone there and has already given out his proposal. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala won't give us somebody's fiancé. He will give us whatever belongs to us. The second thing, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala knows that if He grants us such a thing, we are going to use it against Allah's wish. We are going to do that with it. If He give us a V8, a Benz, we are going to use it, to go around, disturbing girls around the road, hooting to people, to disturb people, to distract people, to show them that we have this. What do you have? So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala knows if I grant this person whatever he requests for, after a long time or even after a short time, he's going to use this, whatever I've given him, as a tool of distraction, of doing haram. So I'm not going to give them whatever they requested for. So that is what we just ask Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala to give us that, but we don't know the outcome from whatever Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will grant us. That is the second thing. The third thing, and Allah yuhibbu sima' du'a'ul abd. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, He really likes when His servant asks Him for anything. He really likes our voice, that we cried along the night, all the night. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, I'm requesting you to give me to grant me paradise. Oh Allah, I'm requesting you to give my parents a long health and a long life. Oh Allah, I'm requesting you to give my brother Faizul Hassan, plenty of knowledge, to grant him a long life and healthy life. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala wants that. He really likes our voice when we request Him. So He decides not to give us whatever we need, because once He gives us whatever we requested for, we are no longer going to stand in the middle of night and request Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala and cry for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So that is another thing. That is hikmah. It is through the wisdom of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. It's not for us to know. It's for Allah to grant us or to give us whatever He wants at the time that He wants. The fourth and the last thing, taksirul abd. Sometimes, this one I've just mentioned it, and I'm repeating it again. Sometimes Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala does not grant us whatever we need because of our sins and because of the little things that we took them lightly. Sometimes we do sins, but we take them lightly. Oh, I've just slapped somebody, no problem. It was just one slap. What if I would punch that person? How could it be? So that slap is okay. Yeah, tomorrow I'm just going to ask for his for forgiveness, then it will be done. With that kind of activity, with that kind of behavior, we are going to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to grant us. So we should be patient first of all, my dear viewers, and you brother Faizul Hassan, we should be patient. Whenever we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for anything, we should be patient for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us. And one thing, we should not sin after we've requested Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and before even requesting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We should go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with pure and clean hearts for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to reply or to give us whatever we requested Him for. And after we requested Him for, we should not just wait, Allah, I told you to give me this and you've already had me, so you have to give me that. It will be like the issue of the issue of Somali Guy. You have the story that I just narrated. It will be like that issue. We don't want to fall in that category. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm just summarizing whatever I said. After that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what is the best for us. So He'll give us whatever we deserve, not what we need. So if Allah subhanahu, we should look at it generally. I am single. I shouldn't, okay, fine. I have my own request and I have my own, ideal points that I'm looking in a lady. But first of all, I have to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant me a spouse. That is one thing. The second thing, if I need, I can specify Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you grant me a spouse, please give me Khadija. Please give me someone who, because I heard her, from her background, she's a very pious lady, and she's a very, religious lady. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I'm requesting you to give me that. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replies to whatever we requested for, He will give us marriage. That is the first thing. The second thing, He will give us whatever we deserve. He'll give me Zainab or He will give me something else. So that's all, bro. I think I'm done. I've taken much time, around 20 minutes, just answering these questions and explaining my points. So do you have anything to add on, bro?
Yes, just that there are 8 billion people, and it's not practical to accept everyone's dua at the same time. And not just that, sometimes
Yes.
we make some very silly duas. For example, why is this person more progressed? Destroy that person, curse that person, make that person's ilm go down, make that person respect go down, make him, we make a lot of bad duas as well. A lot of
Yes.
us are having duas that are not uh, a lot of those duas are very anti duas for other people. We are cursing other people. We're saying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you made that person rich, or you made that person very wealthy. He bought a new house, destroy his house. Why did my son fail and the other person's son passed? Why is this so? There's a lot of duas that are, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted them, half of the population I think would die because of the duas that we
Yes.
make. And that's why so our duas have to be according to the system that Allah works in this dunya. So there's a system that is in place in this world, and we need to follow that system. Yes, if it fits in that system, Allah accepts our dua. If it doesn't come into this system with the discussion that you just had, it will be accepted in the akhirah. And most likely we need most of our duas accepted in the akhirah, because on this world is only a day for us, and the next world is an eternity, and in eternity we've got a very long journey to go ahead with. And apologies, we've got a long journey ahead. There'll be different stops, so we will need a lot of our duas accepted on that day, on the day of judgment, which is very important. So I just wanted to add that point into our conversation, that so that people understand that a lot of our duas are not accepted in the Allah's in this. It's not that Allah doesn't want to accept them, it is just that Allah does not want to make the system of this world go into mayhem, go into a chaos, because someone might say I want this, someone might want two opposite things. What would Allah look at? Allah will look at what will keep the world in order, what will keep the world as a system going. He can't make the world go imbalance, because we have so much du'as. And there's in the Quran, there's a section where Allah says that it's gone out of my head, where if we had followed their desires, of human beings'
Mm-hmm.
desires, the whole world would
Mm,
be destroyed. This, I'm just summarizing. I'm saying it in
mm,
my own words, but the Quran has its
mm,
own way, the way it says it. But the mafhum is this: that if we follow their khwaishat,
mm,
their desires, their wants, and if we accepted every
mm,
khwaishat of the human being, then this whole place would be
mm,
destroyed. So that is why not all of our
mm,
du'as can be accepted, because it has to follow Allah's plan. And one of the first criteria
mm,
is that will we get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this or not? And this is where Allah will
mm.
see if you accept it or not. And I think I'll end it with this because you've already explained all of this. So brother, let's
Yes,
move on to
yes.
the next part.
Connecting this issue with our next part, oh, is that, brother, apart from, let me ask you this question. Apart from Gregorian calendar and Islamic calendar, do you have any other calendar that you follow? Leave the issue of Iranian calendar. You are not there anymore. So apart from the Islamic calendar and Iranian and Gregorian calendar, which other calendar do you follow?
No, we only follow the Gregorian calendar here and no other calendar. Other than the Islamic calendar,
And
we have
Islamic
Muharram, but
calendar as
that's
well.
Islamic. Yes. What about you? What calendar do you have?
Oh, oh, here. One interesting thing about the Swahili community or the East African community, the Swahili speakers, we have our own calendar. It is Islamic calendar, but this Islamic calendar, it normally starts from Shawwal. I asked here in Tanzania, I asked one of the sheikhs, why is it so? Why do we start our calendar or our year with Shawwal? He said, look, brother, we have Laylatul Qadr. We know that in Laylatul Qadr it is the night of destiny. Whatever will happen for the next year of your life is budgeted in that night. That's why we request Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, if we had anything to add into that file, we are going to do so. And one more thing, the budget is not being read in the year, in the current year. We normally read the budget in the previous year for it to be for it to work, to be, for people to work on it, or for the government to work on it in the current year. So in the month of Ramadan, as we end the year, we check our files, we know how we've done, we know the shortcomings that we had, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the nights of destiny to grant us a better life, to give us a better living, to give us, a better health and something. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He budgets everything in that night of destiny for the upcoming year. After that is done, after the budget is read, then we start the year fresh. That right now we don't have any sin, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted our amal, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted our Laylatul Qadr. Right now everything, we have the whole package. Right now our budget is here with us, so we have to take it along the year till next year. So we normally start our calendar with Shawwal. Shawwal, we normally call it Mfungo Mosi. Mfungo Mosi, it means first month. Then we go to Mfungo Pili. Then we go to Mfungo Tatu. That way, then we reach Rajab,
That's a
Shaban, and
that's a
Ramadan.
very
These
that's a
3 months.
very that's a very nice way of doing this. I like this because we have a narration that the
Mm,
19th, 21st, and the 23rd. So the 19th,
yes.
whatever you did the whole year, you summarize it and you look at
Mm-hmm.
your
Mm,
loss and your gain, your spirituality, closeness, and your spirit, whatever you did good, whatever you did bad. So you calculate all of this and you
mm,
do istighfar
yes, yes.
on the 19th night. And then on the
Mm,
21st, you ask for your next year's planning. Then when the 23rd
yes.
starts, you have it endorsed. And
Mm-hmm.
by the end of Ramadan, you have a new
Mm,
year starting. That's a very nice way of starting your year. It's a very nice way. I never
yeah,
heard of
yeah.
this. This is really something new I've learned, that uh, you start your calendar on the 1st of Shawwal. So Eid is your first,
We
and
start our
anyway,
calendar on
it's
the
Eid
first of
as
Shaban.
well. That's really good. So it's Eid as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
a
it
happy
is
new year as
Eid.
well.
We celebrate that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted us the Ramadan, and has granted us the whole. It's like the way people celebrate their New Year. So we normally celebrate our New Year by Shawwal. That's how we do. But the whole year, we normally count Fungomosi, the first month. We don't say Shawwal, and so we say first month, second month. We know It is Shawwal. First month, second month, we go till Rajab. But for Rajab, Shaban, and Ramadan, since there are 3 holy months, we normally mention them like that. We have Rajab, Shaban, and Ramadan. After Mfungo Tisa, the 9th month, we have 10, 11, and 12. We have Rajab, Shaban, and Ramadan. That's our calendar, Swahili calendar over here in East Africa. Inshallah, when you join me, I will take you to the history of these issues. I take you to elders for you to know more about it. So connecting this issue, brother, to the Inshallah, it's only we are here. We are only missing you. We are only missing Faizul Hassan here, brother Faizul Hassan Maulana. We only miss you here for you to know more about Swahili culture. So,
inshallah, I would like to learn the Swahili culture.
Yes. Along the issue of fasting, oh brother, I have a question. I'm a traveler. You know, I'm a tourist. When I come to Africa, I'm a tourist. When I'm in Iran, I'm a student. So, along this issue of me starting the new year of Shawwal, and I have Qadha fasting, and I have also Qadha prayers. What should I do? Should I start with Qadha fasting because fasting is much important, or no? Prayer is much important. So, what is important between prayer, our daily prayers, obligatory prayer, and also Qadha? Which one is more important? Just give me an answer if you have anything in mind before I give my side of it, or my view.
Okay. First of all, your wajib prayer is more important than your qaza prayer. So you must do the wajib, and then you should also do the qaza itself as well.
Okay, no, I'm trying. I'm asking you: is fasting much important, or prayer is more important? Should I start by doing qada of my prayers or doing qada of my fasting? Which one is more important? I'm not asking about the daily qada, the what ada prayer and qada prayer. No, I'm asking about the fasting and the prayers.
I see where you're coming from. Because we have this question from our sisters as well. Yes. The problem is this, that people get confused with the fact where they say if our ladies, the sisters that we have, during the month of Ramadan, if they are fasting and then they come across the time of their month where they cannot fast, but they have to do the qadha of that. However, for Salat, when the time comes, they don't have to do the qadha of Salat. So some people think that because you have to do qadha of the fasting, maybe fasting is more important than the Salat. And this is where they do their own istidlal. They do their own qadawat of analyzing and thinking maybe this is the importance. And so that is why some people say we will fast and we won't pray because fasting is more important than reading salat, for example. However, this is not the case. Salat has its own dimension, and fasting has its own dimension. Fasting is only there for 30 days, and it's only done at a specific time. But Salat is throughout, and it has its own condition as well. So, do you want to answer or shall I answer?
Very nice. No, very nice. You already answered everything. No, you already answered everything. You killed it. So on the other side is that some people will say, no, I'm not fasting during the holy month of Ramadan. It's not that important because we have a hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and our imams, they are saying, أول ما يحاسب به العبد يوم القيامة الصلاة. The fasting that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to check on the day of judgment is salah. If salah is accepted, the whole a'mal after it is going to accept it. But if salah is not accepted, everything that is done besides salah is not going to accept it. So on the other side, we can also say, me as a person, I can also say, okay, salah is also important on its own dimension. But you really gave me a very strong answer that every action has its own dimension towards the spiritual growth. And right now we're talking about spiritual insight. Towards spiritual growth, every action counts, and every obligatory action has its own dimension. And we, in the previous night, we say, and we mentioned about the benefits that we get from fasting. That no one can mention it. And no one can come and tell me the benefit that we are getting from, the reward that we are getting from fasting is so and so and so. We say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, As-sawmu li wa ana ajzi. Fasting is mine, and I'm the one who's going to grant the reward for the person who fasts. So both of them are very important. They have their own dimension. From their own view, they are important. So somebody shouldn't come forward and say, you know what, prayer is not that important, but I'll be fasting. Why? Because fasting I have to pay for it, even for the ladies. But prayer is not. But don't forget, we should not compare those two. That this one is more important than this. Everything has its own dimension. From one angle, this is important, and from the other angle, this is also important. Why? Because we need both of them for our spiritual level to upgrade our spiritual level. So right now we are only remaining with 2 minutes. Just one question, brother, before we end up our program. How much time do I have to repay or to do qada of my fasting? We leave aside salat. Salat, inshallah, we're going to talk about tomorrow, the qada of salat, and also I have so many questions here. But just one question before we end up. How much period or how much period do I have to repay back my fasting, because we are in the month of Ramadan?
So those brothers and sisters that are probably having some qada fasting, for those brothers and sisters, they need to make sure that before the next Ramadan starts, they should have done the qaza of those fasts. Otherwise, if the next Ramadan starts, then the penalty is more than just the qaza itself. Then you will have to pay kafara for this as well.
Oh, so I have a whole year just to pay back my qada. So I shouldn't get worried. Right now, like somebody like me who is a tourist, I have 9 days that I need to fast. So I'll be fasting in 1 month. I fast 1 day. In the other month, I fast the other day. Till before even the Ramadan comes, I have time, brother. The whole 11 months. If in every month I just do qada of 1 day, it's enough. So what is your answer on that?
No,
what is your take?
As far as our akamat says, we have to do it consecutively. Consecutively means one after the other. Put this up. It has to be done. So we select a time that in this time we will do our qaza fasting, and then if it's 5 days, you do continuously 5 days. So every day you do iftar and seher. It's iftar and seher. You do this for 5 days. You can't break it unless there is an emergency or something that you have for some reason. That's a different issue. But otherwise, you have to consecutively fast.
That is very good. That is for you ulama, you can do it. But for us who are, we have weak hearts, we cannot take it that way. But the other answer from another angle is that as soon as possible, once Ramadan is done, you should start fasting your qada fasts, and you do away with them as soon as possible, because we don't know our time, we don't know any emergency can occur, and we don't know also our death. When are we going to die? Because of that, we should do our qada as soon as possible. Once Ramadan is done, we should start fasting our qada, and we do away with it. The way Brother Faizul Hassan said, if we can do it consecutively, it will be very good. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. The time is over. Just finish the program.
Dear brothers and sisters, as we've seen today, we've discussed about our amal, how they get accepted in the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the du'as that we make, why some du'as are not accepted, why some du'as are accepted. We discussed about these issues. And